So let's picture this. You're running a favorite local pizza restaurant. And now you're in charge of making your own menu. So you go ahead and you choose your toppings, your favorite toppings. And for each pizza, you're putting on 3 toppings. So here's the question. On the menu, how many pizzas can you have? So basically, in other words, we're talking about how many ways can we arrange these toppings. So let's say you've got something like mushroom, capsicum, and tomato, but then you've also got something like mushroom, tomato, and pineapple. So you're wondering how many ways can you arrange these toppings? Now this is where combinations kick in. So, welcome to Aussie's Young Learning Emporium, and in today's video, we're looking at combinations. So, as we started off, we looked at pizza and pizza toppings, but combinations aren't just limited to pizza, obviously, it's also if you're choosing people out of a group. So, what are combinations and how to calculate them? So, combinations are about choosing items from a group where order doesn't matter. So, say you're picking 3 students out of 5 to form a group. Here, it does not matter who you picked first, second, or third. All it matters is who is in the group. So, ways we can choose this is that we can have 1, 3, and 4 in a group. Another way is to have person 1, 4, and 5 in a group, and so on. So combinations is basically calculating the number of ways you can do this. So here's the formula to calculate the number of combinations. Here, n is the total number of items in a set, r is how many you're choosing, and exclamation mark is basically factorial, which is multiplying down to 1. So if we said 4 factorial, 4 with exclamation mark, it means 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 24. Now before you run away, this formula is actually not that complex. Let's try to derive it just in this video in just a few minutes. Let's get into it. So let's look back at this question. And so let's first assume that the order over here does matter. So let's find the number of permutations. What permutations really is finding the number of combinations, but also taking account that people can be placed in first and second and third. Here is the formula for permutations, where n is the total number of items, which is, 5, here 5 people in a group. R is the number of people you're arranging, which is 3, and obviously exclamation mark is factorial, multiplying down to 1. So if we solve for this, we're going to get 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial, which is 120 divided by 2, which is the same as 60. So the number of permutations over here is 60. But what is the difference between permutations and combinations? As I said before, it's all about order. So let's name these people. Let's say one is Alice, Bob, Greg, Cal, and Jax. So the combinations over here are many, but let's look at the first combination, which is choosing Alice, Bob, and Greg. So this is one combination. But in this one combination, we can have a lot of permutations because we can place Alice first, then Bob, then Greg, or we can have Greg, Bob, and Alice. Note over here, I've placed Bob in the middle. So for each of these people, Alice and Greg, we can have them in the middle like so. So for Alice, Bob, and Greg, we've got 2 possibilities. So now in total, so the permutations over here for one combination is 6, which is the same as 3 factorial. Now where this came from is basically factorial calculates the number of ways you can arrange a number of things. So basically 3 factorial calculates how many ways you can put 3 things, like how we did with Alice, Bob, and Greg over here. So if we had to choose 4 people out of 5 and we had a combination of 4 people, then the permutations over there would be 4 factorial, which is 24. But let's not get into that just yet. We are just looking at that we have got 6 permutations for each combination. Now what this means is that we have to divide 60, which is the number of permutations we originally had, by 6, which is the number of permutations we have per combination. Because basically, if we had, let's say, one combination, we've got 1 times 6 permutations. That's why we divide to get the answer of 10. Now let's recheck this by using our main formula, which is this for combinations. Now if we solve this, we've got NCR is equal to 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial times 2 factorial, which is equal to 120 factorial divided by 12, which is the same as 10. And boom, that is the same answer as we got before when we were deriving our formula. So our answer over here is that we can do this in 10 ways. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope it all made sense, but if it didn't and you still have some questions, please comment them down below and I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. So that's all for this video. Once again, thanks for watching. Bye!